Anybody out there? Hello, Red. This is completely unannounced. Just thought somebody might want to see a nice fire. Hello, I think that was Dr. Mom. Everything's very small on the phone. How's everybody doing at the onset of the apocalypse? Everybody having a good time? There's so much crazy shit going on right now. I know that since about 2010, I've sensed that time is speeding up. And I used to tell people and they thought I was crazy, and then more recently, more people are noticing the time is speeding up, and now I'm noticing that the narrative is speeding up as well. They're doing things at a rapid pace, and it seems like they've got multiple psyops going at once. So this is an interesting time to be alive. I think we're blessed to be here right now. They just keep throwing one thing after another at the people, and unfortunately, they're buying it. I mean, there's people that still think Trunk's going to be our savior, come back. Now, in my opinion, I don't go by numbers. I don't care, but I know that the people that do this shit vary into numbers. So, since Trump was the 45th president, that's a 9. He gets reelected, he'll be the 47th, that's an 11. And from what I've seen, they're not going to let a 9/11 go by. So they're going to stick Trump in there again. And right now they're trying to burn him down. So I do believe he is the proverbial phoenix rising. He will rise from the ashes and carry on with the agenda that he was running the last time he was in office. I'm trying to look at these comments, they scroll by and then they disappear. I have that burn barrel going on in the background because the other day one of my chickens died. And so I threw it in that burn barrel. But it's been pretty windy, so I never lit it. And then I came out here to light this fire, and I could smell the dead chicken. So I had to go light that one as well because it was not a pleasant odor. So what states are you all in? I'm assuming you're all here in the land of the plumed serpent. This country is going to burn down, and I'm going to be the first to say it deserves it. Nevada, cool. I've been there a few times. Yeah, I don't think that chicken's going to smell good, but upstate New York. Okay, so is that near Oswego, New York, or where are you at? North Texas. I was in North Texas for 2 months about, let's see, October, November. I was in North Texas, yeah, October, November. Hopefully that burn barrel doesn't go out and that chicken needs to get cooked. I don't know what Finger Lakes is, but sounds cool. Was that upstate New York, Finger Lakes? Yeah, I don't know. It's like like Oswego. Was it Raleigh? Is it Raleigh? Rochester? Rochester. Those are like the only two upstate New York cities I'm aware of. But I hope everybody's preparing. Texas has just put out that warning for power grid failure from the 15th to the 21st. So prepare for that. I don't even know what day it is today, but I know we're getting close to the 15th. So it's funny how they know the day. Like it won't be the 14th, but the 15th, we'll be probably losing some power. 14th, you'll be fine. This is like juniper and pinon, and it burns really, really fast. So try and keep this thing going. If the fire burns out, I'm going inside. Hello, LM. Yeah, south of Rochester. Okay. Well, I'm just really glad that the Father put me where he put me, because I don't read news, but I do look at headlines just to get an idea of where they're going with stuff. And it ain't looking good for a lot of people. But I don't know. As long as you, I just threw some logs on. I don't really have logs right here. I'd have to walk over a ways to get some and bring them back. So, yeah, so I was saying, I don't read the news, but I look at the headlines to see where things are headed, and it's pretty obvious uh, what the plan is, and it's weird how they put stuff out there and people just don't take the time. Because if you read the Agenda 2030 papers, which are online, they put them out there for you, and nobody reads them, but they're going step by step with their plans for, I guess you call it a new world order. Didn't they change that to something else? One world government. I don't know what they call it. Something different. I don't keep up with these idiots, but I did notice something about Agenda 2030, because I always wondered how they picked that year, 2030, and I think again these idiots just go by the numbers, and so Christ supposedly died at age 33, which is why they spiral over that number and they just can't get enough of 33. But he was born around 3 BC. So if he died at 33, that would have put his death at about the year 30. And so 2,000 years later would be 2030. I don't know, it's just something I thought about while I was just hanging out. But I don't know, there's a lot of really weird stuff going on right now. And like I said, I don't really pay a lot of attention to it, but like when I drive around sometimes, because everything out here is a long ways apart. So you have a good drive time to think, and all this stuff goes through my head, and I don't write it down. So then if I go live, I have no idea what all these things that have gone through my head to talk about. I don't remember any of them. But I do go on Instagram, because I there's one person on there I follow, and it's about the only place that I can follow him, so I like to see what he's up to. And you know, you see other posts on there, so you'll look at them and go, oh, that's weird. But I mostly look at the comments to see kind of where the people's heads are at. And sometimes I'll be surprised and go, oh, these people actually seem to get it. And then, but most of the time, it's literally these people parroting the narrative, like they believe all this stuff that they're told, and they think it's real. And like voting, there's I don't want to call him out. He's got a prepping channel, and he's really popular. I think, I don't know what his subscriber count is, but if I said his name, you'd all know who I was talking about. But he's talking about who he's going to vote for in the next election. And I'm like, what? Like, they've literally come right out and said your votes they don't count. I mean, I think they probably, like, if you do it electronic and you go into a thing and you push a button, I think it's just a button. It doesn't record anything. And if you do a paper ballot, I think they just go straight to the shredder. I mean, to me, voting its only purpose is consent. If you vote, then you consent to the system. You're telling them, whatever you do, I'm all in because, I participated. So it's just a consent-based system. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they shred the paper ballots, and the electronic ones, I think, it's just literally a button. I don't even think there's even any wires behind it. You just push a button and you walk out thinking, yeah, I showed them. Take that, Pelosi. But that's why I think Trump is already in as the next one, because he's got first, the Phoenix Rising is symbolic, and the 9/11, the 45 and 47, plus he's got to finish what he started. I mean, he's the doctor, he's the father of the clot shot. So that was like phase one. He needs to continue on, get the Patriots to pull their pants down and fight for America. So I think the next Trump administration is going to be wild. Where am I at? I am sitting in front of my deck. I guess you call it my front yard, but I don't really have a front yard here because I'm on a big piece of land, and I guess the road is like 200 yards away, so I guess it's my front yard. I just think of it as like in front of the deck. My back, looks like I had a little glitch. I think World War III is a done deal and probably will start soon, but I think it's just going to start off with, like, maybe say Taiwan and China. Because, I mean, they've been dragging this Russia-Ukraine thing through the mud for over a year, and I just don't think that many people care. All the retards at first were putting all their Ukraine flags on their avatars and showing their support, and that's, like most things, it lasted like 2 weeks. Everybody got rid of their Ukraine flags, so nobody cares. Like, where things start to increase, the only way to sign off on a nonsense war is to attack on America. Either like in the Gulf of Tonkin, they allegedly faked an attack on some military ship or ships, I don't even remember, it doesn't matter. Or 9/11, where they allegedly were attacked by the Sand people. So they have to do something to get Americans. You got to get the Patriots riled up. And right now, nobody cares about the Ukraine. Nobody cares about Taiwan. It has to be an attack on America. And then, I mean, they're showing signs that it's going to be a hack on the power grid, but they're also showing signs it's going to be a quote-unquote nuke attack. I heard some really good insight onto how they could fake a nuke attack. And if you think people fell for COVID, if they went this route with a fake nuke attack, everybody, I'm talking 99%, would buy it. There's just the elect who have discernment and the eyes to see would see through it, but it would make COVID look like nothing, because if they did this, what this individual proposed, 99% of people would fall for it, and they would demand a pound of flesh from Russia, China, whoever the media said was responsible. It would be a done deal. And then you look at our military, and I think that the American military could be taken out in weeks, if not days. I mean, it's a joke. But it's all part of the plan. America is basically a bunch of cucked, woke, porn addicted. I mean, we're ripe for the picking. Um, yeah, if you're going to take down America, I mean, if you don't strike now, you've missed your window of opportunity. Yeah, is it buffering a little bit? Like I said, I live out in the middle of nowhere, so inside the internet's great. Once you leave the house, it drops off. But I'm using Elon Musk's Starlink. I will say that those balloons are actually pumping out a pretty good internet signal. I'm very impressed with how well those. They're probably actually land-based towers that are doing it, but they say balloons, or they say satellites. I say balloons at best. Probably land-based towers, but I think I've seen the lights in the sky. I don't know what they are, but they're supposed to be Starlink. But well, our country deserves exactly what's coming. Like I was telling somebody a while back, like when the whole Russia thing first started, and they were like, "Oh, Russia's like blah blah blah, the Ukraine or whatever." I told people straight up. I said, "You know what? If we go to war, I'm back in Russia." So you can say what you want, but yeah, I would definitely be on Russia's side because America sucks. It's amazing how quickly they brought it down. I mean, America's always kind of sucked. If you look at the history, we've always done stupid shit and pretty immoral country overall. And now it's just ridiculous. But yeah, like I said, we deserve whatever's coming. It doesn't like it's beyond ridiculous. And the media is all in. You know, um, Azazel has his army in place, embedded in basically every institution. They got the education system, political system, media. Um, I think he knows the time is short, and he's basically in panic mode and spiraling, and he's pulling out all the stops. So, you know, the Bible says that he would be loosened on the earth for a season, and I think it seems like it was just recently. Like they were gearing up for it, and now he must be out because it's like going ridiculously rapid as far as their agenda and all the nonsense. And there's still people that believe the media, and they'll tell you like a fact, even though if it's like opposes like the narrative, but it's well, did you know? And then you find out their source is some form of media. So really, I mean, it's the same as people who are still like, well, I'm voting for Trump. Okay, well, I mean, they've had like what 2 elections now where they basically told you straight out like your votes don't count, and it's the same with the media. It's like, oh, I won't believe mainstream media, but this independent media, yeah, they're telling me the truth. No, they're not. People still think that what was it, Bud Light and Target with their, oh, we're going to boycott them. It's like, really? They don't know how the system works. Money means nothing to these people. If they do need money, they just contact the World Bank and they hit some numbers on a keyboard. They've got all the money they need. I was telling somebody, like Target could have no customers, none, like in any Target. Nobody ever walks in the door. In 10 years from now, they'll still be a major retailer because they don't care if you come in there and buy stuff. That's not how the system works. It's not real money anyway. So what do they care if you go in there and spend $20 on a pair of shorts? It doesn't make any difference. But these people still think like, oh, I'm going to boycott Target. Oh, look, their stock went down. It's like, oh, yeah, they'll probably be taking all the signs down in a week or two. And people actually like buy into this. Like they really think that any of this is real and they're actually going to make a difference. I'll show them. Yeah, you will. Let's see. Well, the military is, see, that's the thing people don't understand. They don't care about how much money you spend in their store. It's all about their social credit score and getting injections of cash from the World Bank. And in order to do that, you have to dance for nickels and play the game. If Target didn't put out like gay kid clothing and Bud Light didn't have a trans testicle as their sponsor, then they'd be out of business. The fact that they did those things is why they're still here and they're going to be here and they're going to continue to be here, because it doesn't work the way people think it does. They have to get that, I can't remember, ESG rating or whatever the hell it is, for their credit score. And then all that does is ensure that they keep getting an influx of cash on a keyboard. So if you think that, like, oh, I don't understand, why would like the board of directors allow them to do this, or why would the CEO allow this? I don't know, because it's not what you think it is. They've got people don't even know where they live. Like, they think they're on a spinning water ball flying through an infinite vacuum. So if you don't know where you're at, the rest of it just falls apart. You don't know who you are, and you don't. The one thing I will say, I've noticed like a lot of these, what are they? I guess flat Earth channels. One of the common themes is they all say, once I realized that we didn't live on a globe, like my paradigm was like, it just blew me away, and I couldn't sleep for a week, and I couldn't eat, and I was like, when I realized that the Earth was flat, the only thing I thought was, oh, the Bible makes total sense now, and my eyes opened and I could see like all these deceptions everywhere. Whereas before it was like, oh, maybe, I guess they could have walked on the moon, and oh yeah, 9/11 probably was some planes flying into a building. But once you realize where you live, it's almost like this weight is lifted. And for me, it was just instant. I didn't spiral. I was just like, oh yeah, well, that checks out. And then I went on with my day. It's like these people who act like they had some sort of like meltdown. Yeah, the earth. Okay, it's not flat. It's a topographical level plane. It's not a ball. That's impossible. People always say, well, what's your proof of the globe? And nobody has one. But then if you say, what's your proof of flat Earth? And say, because if it was a globe, we'd all be dead. That's why. That's all the proof I need. If it was what they say it is, we'd all be dead. It's that simple. But like I said, if you don't know where you are, who you are, then you're easy to trick, because you don't have any logos. You have to have the Holy Spirit. And once you do, it's like these blinds are lifted and everything is just like crystal clear. There's still some stuff that's a little grabbly, like what their next plan is. I mean, I know the overall plan, but like what's going to be the next, like right now, the one thing I'm not sure about, because there's two or three, they're putting out different signals, is how they're going to get us into World War III. And I think it's either going to be the fake nuke, and it's going to involve something that is considered a national monument, like the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, Statue of Liberty, something that people go, that's America. And or it's going to be what they're going to call it a hack on the power grid, but in my opinion, they're just going to turn it off. I just think they just have to. But the one thing is that makes me lean against that. I mean, I think they might do it in certain areas and for certain periods of time. It's not going to be the whole, oh, we got EMP'd, we're in the Stone Age. They need the internet and the television to work. So they can't do something that wipes out the power, because that's their propaganda tool. How are they going to tell you what to think, where to go, what to do, what to believe, if they don't have phones, internet, and television up and running? And that's one of the things about a fake nuke attack is going to be the telltale sign, is that those things will still work. But we saw from the last 3 years that people aren't smart enough to go, wait a minute, if we got nuked and there's this, what do they call it? Um, the something winter, whatever, nuclear winter, some cloud going across the country, and you have to like, how are they going to tell you, okay, everybody needs to go to this spot here. This is the safe zone. There's no radiation over here, and that's a way to herd you where they want you. But they have to have the media and the internet in order to propagate that information. And you know, a nuke, if they existed and they're what they say they are, you wouldn't have that stuff. But I'm guessing you are going to have that stuff. You have to have a way to spread the butter on the toast. That's a great way of putting it. A dome-shaped firmament can't be on a ball. Speaking of the dome-shaped firmament, out here where I'm at, you're not going to be able to see it because the phone won't do it, but there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of stars, like every night. It's crazy looking. You got the Milky Way and just, I mean, it's like a planetarium. But I was standing on the deck the other night in the pitch dark looking up at all these stars, and you could see the dome. I mean, you could totally tell you're in a dome. The stars are laid out. You can see 365 degrees all the way around you, that it starts high in the middle and it comes down. And it was just so obvious when I was looking at it. I'm like, how do people not see this? And I think it's because of light pollution. Most people can't see the stars on the scale that you can see them out here. And so, and they've got also in their brain, they're not thinking dome, they're thinking infinite vacuum, trillion. If you just look, it's like, that's a dome. It's like inside a snow globe. And you can see it, but yeah, it wouldn't work on a ball. But nothing would work on a ball. Like standing upside down. That just doesn't work. So, I mean, I'm going to walk over here and see if I can get some more wood. Or I might just call it and go inside. But we don't have that many people here. Probably get a few views on the replay, but hello, Robert. I'm here too. Yeah, it's like I don't really. Sorry, I don't really put out videos anymore. I'll try, but here I work on a couple of different ranches. I work. There's a lot of elderly people that live out here. People like came out here for Y2K because they thought the world was going to end, and then they just preppered down and built bunkers and buried shipping containers with all their stuff. And a lot of them are still here, but now they're like 75, 80 years old, and they just can't do physical labor. So I get called all the time to go out and do all these projects for people, and I just don't have time to like make a video. And plus, if you go back to like when I first started, I pretty much covered. I mean, I don't even know what topic I would cover now. Like I told people like what I thought was, you know, like cutting fences and traveling at night and how to do this and how to do that. And it's just, I'm past it. That was then, this is now. I think that the way things are speeding up right now and the state of the world at the moment, if you're not like well into whatever course you want to take at this point, you might be out of time. I'm not going to say that to discourage anybody. I think everybody, even if like today you're like, I'm going to go out and buy like, you know, $50 worth of canned food and do it. I personally would get out of the cities because I've learned some things about 5G that are terrifying. Not the 5G stuff that when it first came out and everybody's like, hey, 5G. There's stuff about 5G that they didn't tell you that is far more horrifying than just having these shortwave frequencies, you know, next to the school. it's really bad. And there's a reason that during the lockdowns, the only thing they really did was put up a shit ton of 5G towers. And there's a reason for that. I don't want to get into it because, you know, but it's a lot worse than you think. And, you know, out here, it's not going to affect me. I'm just going to probably watch what it does on TV or on the internet. But the only piece of advice I give people is get out of the cities and no 10 people within 10 miles. That's, I think Owen Benjamin says that no 10 people within 10 miles. And I think that's super, super important because for the last, I did a video on about yours like 3 years ago, 2019, 4 years ago, and why it's important to know your neighbors. Like I said, I've touched all the topics that I'd have to just start making goofy shit up now just to make videos. And I don't make money on these videos, so it's like I don't have incentive to make shit up or do a video that's just like nonsense. I mean, this is bad enough, just staring at a fire and rambling. But as far as like, you know, what to do in this situation, or I mean, my website still has a ton of all these products that I've bought and tested that I, you know, work great, and but you know, I don't think anybody goes there and looks at them. So I mean, there's people who do that for a living, you know, Angry Prepper and Canadian Prepper and all these people that's like their job. It's not my job. I have more stuff I'm doing out here than I have time for. And when I'm not at somebody's ranch or something doing work for them, I got stuff I got to do here. I got 6 dogs, like 17 cats, 13 chickens. I've got responsibilities here. I'm building things. I'm going to places, buying pallets, bringing them back, building stuff with those, getting lumber, building stuff with those. I just don't have time for to make making prepper videos like my living, because a lot of those people, they talk about current events like, oh, did you hear 3 days until martial law, and it never happens. And then nobody ever calls them out on it. People still subscribe and pay them money or whatever they do, but they can make some outrageous claim and then it doesn't happen, and nobody seems to notice because they've already moved on to their next talking point. You know, did you hear what Biden did? And that's a whole thing too. With the, I mean, people just they don't have eyes to see. There's at least 2 Bidens. It's plain as day. It's not even debatable. One with attached earlobes and one with detached earlobes. I mean, they're 2 different dudes. Are they masks? Are they organic robotoids? I don't know, and I don't care. I just know that it's a shit show. They're all acting. They're all reading a script, and they've got actors playing parts, and Trunk's up for part 2. And New Mexico gun law threats are horrible. I wouldn't know anything about it. I live in like the largest, it's either the largest county in the United States or the second largest, and it's the least populated per capita. There's over 3,000 square miles of this county. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's no social services. If the sheriff actually says, if you have a problem, take care of it yourself, and then we'll show up and clean up the shit later. Because the response time to a call, like if you called 911 out here and said, there's a guy in my front yard, he's shooting at my house, he's trying to break in. If somebody got here in 2 hours, you'd be lucky. That's why the sheriff says you just deal with it. And we actually have an ordinance in this county that every home is required to own at least 1 gun. So whatever New Mexico's laws are, they don't apply. Almost nothing applies to this county. It's kind of like the Wild West. It's like the last frontier. People out here do whatever the hell they want. There's people I know that have been here for years that know for a fact that there are countless bodies buried out here. I mean, they just take care of their own problems. Like I said, the sheriff said, if you have a problem, take care of it yourself, then call us, and whenever we get there, we'll sort it out. People just, they don't even call. They just take care of it themselves. There's a lot of land. They just deal with it. So, yeah, New Mexico's gun laws don't, I have no idea. Don't even know what they are. I don't have a problem with, I mean, I don't know, I've got, what, 13 firearms or something like that. So, I don't know. I mean, I can walk out the front door and shoot until I'm out of ammo if I want. Nobody out here cares. Everybody's so spread out and far apart. So, I don't know. I don't think, it's not about complying. It's that this county is kind of like its own world. Like nobody wore a mask here. Nobody did any of that stuff. They just live and do what they got to do to survive. It's very hard to live out here. There's a lot of people that move here and within a year they're gone. Usually after the first winter, they're like out. The Walmart's 84 miles away. A lot of people can't deal with that. So, and in the certain times of year, you can't really drive on these roads. They're dirt, mud, gravel, and when they're wet or icy or snowy, you're pretty much stuck at home, and there's people who can't handle that. So a lot of people come out here, buy property, and a year later they're gone. So yeah, people, and like, I talk to people here, they don't know what's going on. Like if you say, oh, you hear about like so-and-so? They're like, no, I don't got time to, I don't care. It's hard to live out here. Water's a big thing. It's, like I said, it's either, hot and windy or cold and snowy. So people don't have time for nonsense. So, if the governor says something, nobody cares. But yeah, I'm doing this on my phone. Otherwise, like if I had my laptop, I'd let people join in, get on here, let somebody else talk, because I don't really like talking. I don't talk that much. My voice is already starting to hurt. And I'm trying to see what the little buttons on here do. I'm afraid to touch them because I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I just don't want people to fear what's coming because it's coming. And just stay true, stay moral, and trust in God and be righteous, follow His laws, and He'll take care of you. Why do you have so many cats? Well, I started off with 2 cats. Now I have 17. They're all outdoor barn cats. They keep the rodent population down, and they eat a lot of mice, rats, whatever. The dogs protect the cats and the chickens by keeping the coyotes away, and the cats keep the rodents away, and they just keep having kittens. And it's hard to give cats away out here. Well, it's not real hard because a lot of people out here, they'll have cats, but they don't have dogs. It's like you got to have both because the dogs keep the cats safe. And so they're like, yeah, I used to have 20 cats. I have 3 now. I was like, you're just feeding the coyotes. It's like, why don't you have a dog? Oh, I don't want a dog. It's too much responsibility. It's like, well, then you're going to keep losing cats. So you do run across people that are like, oh, you got cats? I'll take a couple cats. But for the most part, people that have, their senses about them and have cats, they try and protect them, and so they have them. But yeah, there's still a lot of people that, sheepdog, what's up? There's still, when I had like 2 litters ago, I had all these cats, and I talked to my neighbor because I know he's got cats and he's got chickens, and I'm like, hey, you want some? Or he's got cats and chickens, and I said, and he's like, yeah, I lost like 3 of my cats, and I'm like, Well, I just got my sixth dog, and the guy who I got the puppy from had like seven more. And I'm like, I know where you can get a free dog. He's like, I don't want a dog. He's like, well, then don't tell me about your dead cats because you're not willing to do what needs to be done. So, some people just like to complain. Oh, that's the other thing since Sheepdog's here, because we text a lot, and I was sharing. I use Flight Radar 24 a lot just to see what's going on. And right now, the mostly Texas is just saturated with fighter jets, tankers, and transports. I mean, like ridiculous. Like just around, well, I think around the uh, Mexican border, I counted 7 or 8 Air Force Talons fighter jets, and then up around Abilene, there were so many jets and tankers and I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I know Texas has a ton of Air Force bases, but if you have Flight Radar 24, go to Texas right now and just kind of go from the south and start moving north, and it's insane. Because Flight Radar 24 has a setting where you can put the label, like if it's a United flight, it'll have the little United label, and what is it? The Air Force will have the Air Force, the blue wings, like right above the aircraft. And there's parts of Texas right now, if you zoom in at the right level, it's just caked in these blue wings of all the aircraft that's up right now. And then there's another balloon. This one's in South Dakota. We had like 3 or 4 that were in Arizona for quite a while, and then they went over into New Mexico, and then they went like northeast, and they shot up towards. It takes them a long time because they move at like 10 miles an hour, but it shows you the altitude, and these balloons are at 65,000 feet. And I don't know why we have a balloon at 65,000 feet over North Dakota or South Dakota that's traveling at 10 miles an hour, but there was one of the fighter jets was doing like loops around the balloon. It's crazy. It's it's one of those apps that I'm surprised they let us have because you can deduce a lot from it. And then I know there's I don't think it's an app, but there's a website where you can do the same thing with maritime traffic and see where all the shipping routes and all the ships all over the world. And they found several ships that were 500 miles inside Antarctica, like basically in the quote unquote ice. Um, so like I don't know why they put that stuff out there for people to see, but they do. And I don't know. I don't like watch TV because I just have like a Amazon Fire Stick for YouTube and stuff and Rumble. But Air was it Flight Radar 24 is actually a pretty good pastime to see what's going on in the skies. And sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm sure there's a logical explanation for it all. Let's see, what's that? What is this? Arson? Well, it was a sweet campfire, but the this pinon and juniper burns like a match. Like I I could go get more wood, but it's like, what's the point? The lower the fire gets, the more stars I can see. And there's some crazy stuff going on up there. I'm the guy who does stuff outside. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the guy that you read about who does stuff outside. Everybody else is indoors. I'm the one guy just walking around doing stuff. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna skedaddle. I don't really have anything pressing to discuss other than trust in God and just don't buy all the nonsense. Just focus on what's real and what's right in front of you. Like I said, the no 10 people within 10 miles, if everybody did that, the whole country would be completely different. But apparently they're not capable of that because they're scared of other people because they can spit a invisible bug on you and you'll die. 3 prop planes flying a pattern from South Texas to Alliance in Fort Worth. Oh, they quit flying. I flashed one. Oh. What? You flashed one. I don't want to know what you flashed it with or how you did it, but flying in kids. Well, I mean, that's an assumption. All right, man. Everybody take care. God bless. And I will probably talk to you at some other point unless like World War III and the apocalypse starts real soon. Okay, bye.